Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Dip with Chelsea. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 reasons why your dip powder nails might be lifting. Please keep in mind that everyone's nails are different. Their lifestyle, their nail chemistry, genetics, all the things. So what works best for me might not work best for you, and what works best for you might not work best for me. So the first thing I want to talk about are our natural nails. So before we even start the dip powder process, I want to talk about oils and moisture. It's really important that when we're doing any sort of nail enhancement that our natural nails are clean of any oil and moisture. So something as simple as just doing this, you're getting oils on your natural nails by just rubbing your hands through your hair. The other thing is having your hands in water. So if you take a shower right before doing your nails, if you take a bath, if you're doing dishes, there's a scientist named Doug Schoon who has said if you submerge your hands and nails in water for more than 1 minute, then you need to let your nails dry for 1 hour. So what happens is when you've got moisture in your natural nail plate, it will relax the C curve. So that natural curve on your nail will relax and it'll get wider. So if you've ever noticed after you take a shower that maybe your natural nails look a little bit more flexed and wide, that's because there's moisture in the nail plate. So as they begin to dry, you'll notice that your curve gets tighter again. So it's really important for you to observe how your natural nails look when they're dry so you know before you start your manicure if they really are dry. You, however, understand that time permitting, that's not always an option for everyone, especially when you go to a salon. They want you to wash your hands and disinfect right before sitting down, and that's okay. The scientist does say as long as it's not more than a minute. So normal hand washing is only a few seconds. However, I prefer the dry manicure route just because I do not want to trap in any moisture underneath my nail enhancement. Number 2 is going to be about our actual natural nails health. So are they damaged, brittle, peeling, dry, cracking, all of these things? Mind you, disclaimer, I am not a licensed professional. I'm not a health professional. So please remember that natural nails can be a very big indicator that something is going on with our health. So if you are having any sort of struggles with your natural nails, please reach out to a licensed professional. With that being said, having a damaged natural nail can affect how your manicure is going to adhere to the nail plate. So sometimes it just takes time of healing and growing out your natural nail. And that does take many months, but it can be worth it for you to have longer lasting manicures. Speaking of damage, we have to talk about things that can damage your natural nails during the dip powder process if we're talking about lifting. And the first one is going to be about proper removal. So please do not rip off your dip powder. I know it can be hard for those who are anxious. If you start to see the lifting, you want to kind of pick at it. I understand, but do not use a floss. You know, that trick that everyone was talking about where you slide dental floss underneath it. You are literally ripping off layers of your natural nail. So please do not do that. The next thing I want to show you is this illustration. So I'm going to sit here and draw for you and explain how during the prep process, you could also be damaging your natural nails.
So we're going to pretend these are our natural nails. We've got our free edge down here, and then this is our cuticle area. So I'm going to illustrate to you what happens when you over buff or over file your natural nails over time. So this is our first time buffing our natural nails. You're going to do dip powder. This is your first time gently removing the shine. So I'm going to show you. We're going to color it in pink. This is us gently removing the shine across the entire nail for the first time. Now, this next time, so number 2, you have now removed this entire dip powder. So number 2, this is going to be our second time. This area up here is the new growth. So we have not buffed this area yet. It is new growth. So we are going to gently remove the shine up here at our cuticle area. But you've now decided, okay, you want to buff the entire nail again. You go across the entire nail, except remember, this portion of our nail we've already buffed before. So I'm going to do it a little bit darker to show you now we've now removed more layers that's already been buffed. All right, it's time to soak off. We're going to do dip powder manicure number 3. So remember, this is new growth. This is nails that have now been buffed twice, and this bottom layer is going to be 3 times. So we want to remove the shine. This is the first time on the new growth. You've decided to buff over the entire nail again, so we're going to go across it. But remember, this part's now been buffed twice. And then this bottom half of your nail where you're prone to cracking, chipping, splitting, all of those things has been buffed 3 times. So these are layers of your natural nail that are being removed while buffing it. So this is why it's important. You don't need to buff the entire nail every time. You can buff and remove the shine from just the new growth.
Remember when I talked about at the beginning what works best for you might not work for me and vice versa? Well, that's what number 3 is going to be. I came across Facebook groups that were all raving about cuticle removers. So that could be the Blue Cross Blue Shield, there's Sally's. So of course I bought it, I tried it, and y'all, for me, it made my lifting worse. So if you are using one of those products and you're noticing that you're still experiencing lifting, I urge you to try and remove that product from your process and see if that helps. It could be a simple, quick fix, but I do know others who that was the solution to their lifting issues. This is really going to vary for each person. It's very important to look at the ingredients in the products that you're using during prep, because you do not want any of the products to have oils or any glycerins in them when you're using them for prep. That can leave a film on your natural nails and cause the product to not properly adhere.
So here's my glass cuticle pusher. Y'all know this is a holy grail product for me, a total game changer. Number 4, you guys, that can cause lifting is leaving cuticle or anything on the nail plate. So up here on our nail, if we were to leave that dead skin, aka cuticle, that can cause lifting. So that will make it where the product can't adhere to the natural nail. So I'm going to pull back the skin to get in those pesky corner areas, and I'm going to show y'all. I like to do small little swirl motions and just gently push back. So I do small little swirls going from one side of the nail plate all the way over to the other. I'm not pressing hard, I'm not pushing hard, I'm being very gentle, doing small swirl motions, pulling my skin back to make sure I really get everything off of my nail plate, and then I go back over to the other side. You can see just how much it's removing. I love this product. I've used it for years. I swear by it. It's amazing. So once we're done and we get all the way back over to the other side, now mind you, I do this to every single one of my nails. I flip over the glass cuticle pusher and I clean everything out with the other end. So if we would have left that on the nail plate, that would cause the dip powder to not be able to grab onto our natural nail. So once you're done with all of your nails, make sure you use a dusting brush to remove that before the next step. Remember when I talked about damage from over buffing your natural nails? Well, that can also occur from using too harsh of a grit on your natural nail. So this is a 240 grit. The higher the grit, the more gentle. You can also use a 220 grit. So we're going to focus our buffing block up at our cuticle area again. We want to double, triple check that we don't have anything there on our nail plate. So we're just going to very gently remove the shine. I'm not applying any pressure. I'm just making sure I get all the way in those sidewalls and going across my natural nail to remove the shine. Also going to leave another one of my prep videos that goes over how to avoid buffing your natural nails, but today I want to keep it super straightforward and simple and talk about buffing natural nails because I don't want you guys to be victims of overdoing it on your natural nail and damaging them in the long run. Here's a comparison of what I mean by removing shine. Do you see how my left hand here has a matte finish and my right hand has that shine? That's how you can tell what I mean. Number 5 is going to be about not using the right dehydrator. A lot of people can get away with dehydrating their nails with just rubbing alcohol or just acetone, but I want to explain why it's important to check ingredients. So for me, during removal, I love this pure acetone, but if you were to use this product during your prep process, look right here. This has oils in it, which is great for removal, but it's not great for prep. So you don't want any of your acetones to have an oil. And again, this is for my nail polish girlies, okay? This nail polish remover on the back here, if you look at the ingredients, has glycerin, which is also a no during your prep. Great for removal, but you don't want these products for prep. So a real dehydrator is meant to cleanse the nail of any oils or moisture. So this is where it gets confusing. Notice this one's a primer, this one says bond, this one says pH prep. So it's important to check the ingredients, check the website, and make sure it is designed for dehydrating the natural nail plate. My go-to product is this one from Sparkle & Co. So you apply a layer of this across the entire nail. It air dries, so this is removing the oils and moisture on your nail plate. You'll start to see that clouded look. If you are someone who can't wait and you have to wash your hands right before a manicure, then I would suggest going back over top for a second layer. This just ensures that you do not have anything on your nail plate that would cause not only lifting, but possibly an infection. The sixth reason you might be experiencing lifting is because you're using a primer. It is a primer for gel liquids. You do not need a primer when you're using dip powder liquids. I know there's a lot of confusing information out there. Look, this here says a bond on Kiara Sky. However, this is a dehydrator. So again, it's important to read ingredients, understand the products that you're using, and remember you don't need a primer when you're using dip powder liquid. I'm using the shade Truth and Azur's 2-in-1 dip powder liquids. If these products touch your skin, that will absolutely cause a lifting issue. So to get that under control, we have to get our liquid under control. So I like to remove as much product on my brush. So I swipe from one side, swipe to the next. This is about how much I keep on there. Remember, there's also product up here in the neck of this handle. So as gravity takes control, that's also going to pull more product down here on our brush bristles. I also started to notice when I rest my hand on my desk to paint my nail, when I flex or keep my fingers straight, I point my finger upward. That's going to be an issue because it's going to make the liquid flow back towards my skin, back on my sidewall area. So to prevent that, I've started resting my hand on a jar because it makes me have to keep my finger pointed down. For my thumb, I keep it rested on the desk, and then I keep my finger rested over top of my other pointer finger. Now, with my brush, right now is the most liquid I have on it. So if I start it right at my cuticle area, it's going to get on my skin. So I start my brush right about here on my nail, and then I guide it back towards my cuticle area, fanning my brush bristles out and pulling the excess down. Remember, it's really important to not get this product on our skin, so I'm going to pull my skin back, getting my brush all the way over to those sidewall areas and just dragging the excess product down. This is why it's so important to get that liquid application down, because that will absolutely cause a lifting issue. So we're going to dip into our powder really quick. All of this is in real time so you can see my application. The next trick is to use a precision tool or a toothpick to make sure you don't have any product on your skin. So I'm going to run this right across here, pulling my skin back, and this will make sure that nothing is on my skin that can cause a lifting issue. It's important that we remove the excess product on our brush bristles for every nail, every layer. Here's about how much I have on there. So I have my finger pointed slightly down, both resting on my desk. And now I'm going to start my brush here and guide it back. Let the brush do the control. So we're going to fan it out, guide that liquid back, let it hover there for a second, make sure we don't have it on our skin, and then drag the excess down. I'm going to pull my skin back. This is all in real time, making sure I do not get this product on my skin. Drag that excess liquid down. You do not need a lot on there. And then if you are still struggling with keeping product off your skin, or you notice it's rippling, I'm going to show you how to fix that. So we're going to pour the dip powder over top. So this is going to prevent the bunching, the rippling that can happen when we don't have our liquid under control. So what happens is when you dip your nail into the jar, sometimes that can push the product back onto your skin. So if you can't get the liquid under control, I would suggest trying to pour over next. Then while it's still wet, I'm going to use my precision tool to clean up around my cuticle area. The number 8 reason on why your dip powder nails might be lifting could be because you're not using enough activator. So Activator is the product that hardens the dip powder base liquid, and it's also the same product that makes the top coat dry properly as well. So remember with the dip powder base that I had you remove some of that excess? Well, you don't want to do that with Activator. You want to apply a very generous layer of Activator. So we're going to apply a generous layer of this on top of the dip powder and let it dry for 2 minutes. If you notice that it still doesn't look completely saturated or wet, or you're doing a lot of layers because you have a lot of length on your nail, then go back over top for a second layer of Activator so that you really saturate the nail. And speaking of having longer nails, we're going to call this reason number 8.5 on why they might be lifting. If you're someone who experiences cracking or chipping in your dip powder, it's possible that due to your nail length, shape, or lifestyle that you need more strength, aka more layers or a thicker dip powder liquid, but that can also be a reason why your nails are lifting, because if you have a lot of stress, so the stress area of your nail, or you're constantly applying a lot of pressure to your free edge, that can cause the product to start to lift at your cuticle area as well. So it's important that you have enough strength for your nail length, shape, and lifestyle. So after you're done filing and shaping your nails, you dust it off, it's time for layer number 2 for Activator. So remember, apply a very generous layer of this before going in for top coat, which is also our number 9 reason on why they might be lifting. So the number 9 reason might be from your dip powder top coat application. So it's important that we keep this product off of our skin as well. You've heard me say that 100 times. So we want to apply just 3 quick strokes of our top coat on our nail for our first layer. The top coat is what is going to seal everything in and protect it. It is that final layer of protection to really get the longevity out of our dip powder manicure. So for the second layer, it's also important that we do not get it on our skin, but you're going to notice I'm being more precise, more detailed, getting all the way to those sidewalls. And here's the really important part, y'all. We got to cap off that free edge. Seal everything in and protect your dip powder manicure from lifting, cracking, and chipping.
Last but not least, number 10 is going to be, it could just be time. And I know that it's so annoying because we all want our manicures to last weeks and months and all of that, but each person is going to be different. So if you are doing a lot of swimming, so that's chlorine, a lot of hand washing, so soaps, all of these products and things, cleaning supplies, all of that will break down the glue and the adherence in the bond between your natural nail and the enhancement. If you're like me and you go to these tutorial videos, you love to go skim through the comments, I would love to hear what your dip powder prep process is like, what helped you, what didn't help you. It's always super helpful. We're one big community here, so I'd love to hear your journey along the way as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you found today's video helpful, and I will see y'all next week.